this video, I'm going to be going over the top 5 most profitable businesses for solo players in GTA 5 Online. Recently, I had a video ranking every single business in GTA 5 Online, so if you haven't seen that, I'll leave it linked in the description and at the end of the video, but that's different. That was basing it off of fun, off of what it has to offer, as well as profit. This is just pure profit as a solo player. Starting off at number 5. In my number 5 spot for best business for a solo player, I have the Nightclub. Now, even though this business didn't rank too high on my ranking all businesses, the reason I think this is a great business for solo players is because if you just maintain it, you'll get the $50,000 in your wall safe every 50 minutes, or 48 minutes, I should say. And especially for newer players who are continually grinding out, trying to make money, you're going to be in the game for a few hours, so you can come back here to your Nightclub and pick up that 50 grand every 48 minutes, and that does help out a lot. As well as that, you have your passive income that comes from your warehouse that funnels from your other businesses. So this can be running in the background while you're working on other things, and then you could just sell it, whether it's every day or every week, whatever it is for you, just to make a little additional income. In my number 4 spot, I was originally going to be doing the special cargo warehouse. So it is a special mention, and I'll talk about it here a little bit, but I decided to go with something else in my number 4 spot. But the special cargo warehouse, you can purchase through your CEO office, and they have small, medium, and large warehouses. If you were to purchase a large warehouse, for example, you can fill this thing all the way up, sell it for around 2.2 to 2.5 million, depending on a public lobby or not, or if it has any bonuses as far as 2 times pay. The only downside is it takes so long to fill up. Now, obviously, the good strategy for this, which I have guides on my channel, is to get to the point where you have 2 large warehouses and also a terabyte. This way, you can park your terabyte in between the 2 warehouses or at one of them, and that way you can go back and forth between the 2 warehouses sourcing the 3 cargo. This will mean you don't have to worry about the cooldowns. You can just go from one warehouse to the other, and you'll be filling up 2 warehouses at the same time. Now, the other upside of having the terabyte is that you won't get some of the tedious missions that take forever. If you source these through your CEO office, you could get missions that can take you anywhere from 10, 15, 20 minutes, but sourcing them through your terabyte, you should only get the missions that take around 3 to 5 minutes. So what is the business I replaced this one with? Well, that is the Acid Lab. The reason I replaced the cargo warehouse is just time. It does take a long time to fill these things up. This business can be raided, where you could possibly lose everything, and the missions can seem repetitive, whereas the Acid Lab is a great business for solo players. You get access to this by completing the last dose missions, and it's another passive business that once you've supplied it, you can leave it running in the background while you work on other things. It is also the easiest sell missions out of all of GTA 5 Online. You don't have to worry. You can sell these in a public lobby, and for the most part, obviously there could be some bad apples, but for like 99.999% of the time, no one will try and disturb you while you're doing the sell missions for Acid Lab, mainly because you're using a motorcycle and it's too hard to lock onto. It's too hard to like chase down. You can go in and out of alleyways, and it's just not worth it. So for that reason, being such easy sell missions and such a great business that passively works in the background when you're working on other things, that's why this business is number 4. In my number 3 slot, we have the Hangar. Now, if you guys have been around my channel for a while, you'll know I absolutely love this business, and I think it is an incredible solo business, and I think it's very easy. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these businesses are personal preference. You may be someone who prefers doing actual like story missions where you have to physically start up a mission, chase people down, you know what I'm talking about, and be actively doing things constantly. Or you could be like myself, where you don't mind the repetitiveness. So the reason I love the Hangar so much, and the reason it's number 2 on my list, is because of the source and sell missions. And again, for somebody who doesn't mind sitting for a couple hours grinding out the same thing over and over again, listening to some music or having a podcast or something in the background, this is a great solo business. Recently, they introduced ground vehicles. So you can source your cargo for the Hangar now via a ground vehicle, and you can sell your cargo now via a ground vehicle. This business used to only be air. So you would have to, if you were sourcing cargo, you had to do it all by air. And if you were selling cargo, you had to do it by air. And they were the most tedious missions in all of the game. Like, I didn't like the hangar at all because of these missions. They made it almost impossible to sell things as a solo player. But now with this newer update where you have ground source missions, the ground source missions are not only super easy, but you can complete them as little as 2.5 minutes. I would say on average, they take around 3 to 3.5 minutes, but it goes from 2.5 to 5 minutes max to do the source missions. And obviously, just like other businesses, you can skip the cooldown by instead of choosing just the same item that you're sourcing, you can choose 2 different items. So you can keep going back and forth, so you can fill this thing up fairly fast. Now, when it comes to sell missions with the hangar, it's also very simple now that we have the ground vehicles. It's always going to be one vehicle. It could be a vehicle where you have to go and drop off in multiple locations. Those are a little bit more nerve-wracking, I would say, because obviously you want to sell these in a public lobby to maximize your payout. It can be a little bit more nerve-wracking, but you can also get single sale missions where you get a truck. So either way, as a solo player, whether you want to risk it in a public lobby or even if you do this in an invite-only lobby, if you like to just sit and do something while watching a video in the background and you don't want to have to worry about listening to a story mission to know what you have to do, this is a great business for you. In my number 2 slot, which I'm sure is not a surprise to absolutely anybody, is going to be the Kosaka, aka the Cayo Perico heist. Now, for those of you who don't know, in order to launch the Cayo Perico heist, you do first have to purchase a Kosaka. Once you own the Kosaka, you have the planning board where it costs you $100,000 to do the setup for the Cayo Perico heist. Now, I have literally hundreds of videos on my channel just explaining how to do it in every single different way, doing it with every single vehicle, every single weapon, every single entry point, exit point, getting every single secondary loot. So if you want any guides on the Cayo Perico heist, just go ahead and search on my channel, and I promise you I'll have something for you. But to do the Cayo Perico heist, you have to first do the setup missions, which honestly, if you've been doing it for a while, you can complete all of these setup missions in around 30 minutes. If you want to make the Cayo Perico heist as easy as possible, if you're struggling, you can do the disruption missions, which will take you about another 15 minutes or 10 minutes. And that'll make the Cayo Perico heist basically impossible to fail. But once you've completed all of your setup missions, depending on your playstyle and how you want to do the Cayo Perico heist, I would say on average, to get the elite challenge, it's going to take you around 10 to 11 minutes. Now, there is ways to do the Cayo Perico heist in like 4 minutes, but as long as you keep it under 15 minutes, you'll be able to get the elite challenge, which will make you the most amount of money. Recently, Rockstar has nerfed the Cayo Perico heist. You used to get paid a lot more money for doing the Cayo Perico heist, but it still, to me, doesn't matter. It is still one of the highest paying things in the game, especially for a solo player. You don't have to invite other people. You can do this by yourself very easily, but it does have a cooldown of around 3 hours. That's the only downside to this heist, but honestly, if the cooldown was any shorter, this thing would just be so overpowered in my opinion. But I do think a lot of people they would probably do this business, right, is for if you want to do the Cayo Perico heist, you can do it once, maybe twice a day. So you'll do it as soon as you jump on, and then while the cooldown's happening in the background, you can work on some of these other businesses that I've mentioned in this video. And then before you're about to log off, maybe you can jump in and do the Cayo Perico heist once more. This isn't a business that you're going to grind and do every hour, but it is something that you can do once or twice a day, depending on how much time you have. Moving on to my number 1 spot, the business that I personally think is the best all-around business and the best for a solo player is the agency. Now, the agency doesn't really need too much of an introduction, but this is the business where you can launch the contract, which is the Dre mission. Now, the Dre mission pays around $1 million, depending on the time of year, if there's any bonuses and things like that. And depending on how good you are at this mission or at this contract, you can do it in as little as an hour, which I think that's pushing it, to be honest with you. But I think an hour and a half, you can do it comfortably in an hour and a half if you're decent at it. And there's not really a cooldown for this, so you can constantly keep doing it. The other reason I believe this is such a great solo business is not only do you get the contract where it pays out doing the Dre missions, but you also have the payphone hits, which are a great way to make money in between jobs, and the security contract, which is also a great way to make money while you're waiting for other things to cool down. Now, with the security contracts, the more you do, the more money you're actually going to get in your safe as well. And once you fill up or max out how much money you make in your safe, you will just continuously get that every 48 minutes. I think 20,000 is the limit every 48 minutes for the rest of your career on GTA 5 Online. So it has a passive business, It has multiple ways to make money for like side businesses, and it has the contract itself. Not only that, it also has an armory upstairs where you can purchase weapons, you can purchase armor at a discount, and you can refill your snacks. So in between missions on anything else, if you're doing the Cayo Perico heist, if you're doing the casino heist, if you're doing absolutely anything, MC Club businesses, you can always spawn in your agency and go there and fill up on armor and snacks and ammo and all of that stuff. And then not only that, there's more. It also has an incredible garage where you can upgrade your vehicles to Armani or Imani tech. Now, this has nothing to do with profitability or anything like that, I understand. But this is also, like I say, this is just an all-around business. I did rank this number 1 on my ranking all businesses, and it also makes you a ton of money. So that is it for my ranking. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or if you have a different ranking. Be sure to let us know in the comment section down below. There's a lot of new players this time of year that are getting it for Christmas, so I'm sure they would like to see multiple options and multiple reasons as to why you would choose those options. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you know when I upload more videos like this. And I'll see you tomorrow as always with a brand new video. Goodbye.